with Tracey and Michele. Take it away, sisters.
Hello, everyone, and thank you so much for tuning in to Sisters of Leisure. My name is Tracey, and we are living every day and seeking and understanding real events.
And I am Michele, the little sister.
Awesome. I just want to say to everybody in the world, we are just so happy that we're alive today. You know what I'm saying? Did everybody have a good day today?
No.
Oh, I'm so sorry to say that. I'm so sorry for you. But today has been an amazing day for myself. And I'm just so honored right now today to introduce you to one amazing entrepreneur. His name is Adrian Smith, and he is the owner of Ice Age Management. This gentleman is a stellar in his community, and he is just an awesome person. Thank you for joining us, Adrian.
Thank you for having me, Tracey. I appreciate that. Thank you very much for the both of you having me.
You're
Absolutely
welcome. So we want to know, you own McDonald's corporations or franchises, correct?
Franchises, yes.
Okay. So how did you get started?
So I'm what's called a second gen or next generation McDonald's owner operator. My father was an owner operator. He bought his first McDonald's in 1983 when I was 11 years old. And so I started working in his McDonald's when I was 11 years old, because at the time, you know, the babysitting situation, both my parents were going in the store, so they couldn't leave me at home by myself. So I went to the store and I worked in the grill area at 11. So worked at my father's restaurants as a child, and when I became a teenager, worked in the restaurants as well. Went off to Florida A&M University, and upon graduation in 95, I joined my father in North Carolina. He had moved and bought had some stores here in North Carolina. And I came home and started working with him, entered into the McDonald's program for ownership. And in 2000 was approved to be an owner. And in 2004, bought my first restaurant.
Wow, that is awesome. So you have to literally go through steps in order to be an owner.
Oh, absolutely. Even if you are, you know, the son or daughter of an owner operator, you have to go through a process. And in some ways, they put us through a little bit of a tougher process because they want to make sure that we are prepared to run the restaurants when they're given to us. And they don't want to just give you the blessing, and then once you become an operator, you fail because you weren't properly prepared.
So you were able to have you ever worked a 9 to 5?
Yes. So in college, I did 3 internships. One, Arco Gas in LA, Pfizer Pharmaceuticals in New York, and then one with Beneficial Loan Company here in Greensboro. Okay. And so, part of the reason why I decided to go back and work with my parents was because of my experience working those internships.
Okay. So, I'm sorry, Trey. So you have how many McDonald's do you own now?
So currently I own 47 McDonald's restaurants.
47. And is that all over the world, or is that just like, a certain area of the United States?
No, North and South Carolina and Virginia, Southwest Virginia. Mm-hmm.
Okay. So I've probably eaten at one of your McDonald's before. I used to live in Columbia, South Carolina. Do you have one in Columbia?
Not in Columbia. Darlington, Hartsville, Pageland, Rock Hill. So not quite as south as Columbia.
Okay.
Yeah, but if you've traveled on 85 and you've been in this area, you probably have come into one of my McDonald's.
Wow, that's a lot to manage.
Yes. How do you do that? How do you manage
with good people, with great people that I take very good care of. My growth and my success has only been because of the folks that I have working in my organization, and we're like a family. And I've over the years, just as I've picked up restaurants, I've not only picked up good restaurants, but I picked up really good people. And once you recognize talent and you see that they can handle it and maybe just need a few other little tools or resources, you give them those tools and resources and you let them fly. And so that's why I think I've been as successful as I have, is because of the folks that I have working with me and making this business to where it is today.
Yeah.
Awesome. When you say you give them the tools, like you could kind of see something where they're maybe weak at, and you give them the necessary tools to be better than they were before.
Absolutely.
I think that's amazing. And that's something that other businesses like yourself should use and implement. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. But a lot of times people are very dollar and cents conscious to the point of a detriment to themselves. And you have to invest in your people. You have to put into your folks if you want them to put out for the company. So I'm a firm believer in investing in my people, making sure that they have all the things that they need, not just at work, but making sure that there's a work-life balance, making sure that they're able to take care and take time with their families. Because the more that they do that, the better they are when they come and come back to work. So it's all part of it.
Yeah. So, I have to ask, did you have a mentor besides your dad? Did you have a mentor to guide you through your success? Because, I'm a business owner myself, and I have to have a mentor because I wanted, I'm none of my friends are millionaires, so I need to, to be in that circle of people. So did you have a mentor? Did you have someone to kind of guide you and give you suggestions or next steps?
Several. Well, so there is no big my mother and father. So I do have to, I know you said beside them, but they are and have been everything to my success. Just watching them and not only things that they say, but watching the things that they do, how they treat people, how they work their business. So they have been the biggest mentors to me. But aside of them, there is a community of Black McDonald owner operators. And a lot of them were friends with my father. They came up with him in the company and then became McDonald owner operators. A lot of them are my mentors and have been my mentor through the years, and have showed me different ways to be successful in this business.
Okay.
Awesome.
Yep. So you guys have like a little fraternity of Black McDonald owners.
Yes, there is. It's called the National Black McDonald Operators Association. It's we're about 180 strong across the country. And it's a great group of people, and we make the joke sometimes it's easier to get into the NBA than it is to become a Black McDonald operator.
I'm sure it is.
Yeah.
So how do you handle adversity? Like when you were growing your business, how did you handle that?
It was tough at first. When I was younger, it was really tough because, I came out of school with this degree. I've got, I was getting job offers, making a substantial amount of money. Pfizer was going to hire me. They were going to give me all the perks to come and work for them in Chicago. And my dad said, I'll give you 18 grand, come and work for me at McDonald's. And I'm going to make you no promises. You're going to have to work. You're going to start at the bottom of the top totem pole. So that knowing that and coming home and dealing with adversity was tough because I was like, dang, I could have been making money and, not dealing with this craziness. So, but once I really locked in and understood that it was not about the money or any of the other superficial things, it was about the fact that my mother and father were able to take a break and not have to work every day. Then I started to change my perspective on what the adversity was. And so I have a philosophy that there are no bad days. They're just days of education. And so as long as we're still living, if we made it through whatever we made it through, we learned something, that was not a bad day. And so once I kind of changed my focus, the days didn't change, but my perspective on how the days were going did. And it, continued to help me to grow and grow a lot faster.
Yeah, that's good. That's real good.
I had to write that quote down.
Yeah. Because because it's so important to, like you say, you have to make the day how you want the day to be. It could be a whole lot of stuff coming at you, but you can't make it say, well, I'm having a bad day. One thing make you have a bad day, really? Yeah. We're going to make this day good in this situation.
Right. Yeah.
Hey, there's some people at the hospital today that had some really bad days. You ain't in the hospital. You walking and talking and maneuvering. Yeah, you might have locked your keys in the car. Yeah, you might have had a cough. Yeah, you might have did this, but they ain't as bad as some folks' days.
Yeah. Right. Absolutely. Yeah, that right there, that's a good one for me to keep in mind. But so I want to ask about Ice Age management. Like, what made you come up with Ice Age management? Because when I think of Ice Age, I think of the movie Ice Age.
Right. So, it's always funny when people ask me this, because I've actually tried to come up with a really elaborate story to make it sound better than what it really is. But, my dad, since I was a little boy, has called me Age, because it's short for Adrian. Instead of him saying Adrian, he just like Age. And then when I got to college, I thought I was cool, so I put ice in front of it. And so all my friends in college know me as Ice Age. It's real simple. And so when I bought my first store and I was trying to come up with a company name, one of my college friends was like, "Why don't you call it Ice Age?" And I was like, "There it is." So it's not that elaborate. It's kind of silly, but Ice Age management, and it's grown into Ice Age investments, Ice Age storage, Ice Age this, Ice Age. So a lot of companies out there with Ice Age. If you see that out there, 9 times out of 10, I got something to do with it.
I love that.
Awesome. That is so awesome. Go ahead, Michele.
No, okay. No, I was about to say, I love that. So you said Ice Age investment. So tell us, I mean, because we're talking about business. We're entrepreneurs, we're business owners, and investment is a huge thing, especially this day and age. If you don't know now, start investing, right? So what kind of investments are you into?
So Ice Age investment has multifamily, it has real estate. It also has a storage facility where people store their furniture and stuff like that. It has several little businesses in it. So I'm a firm believer in not keeping all your eggs in one basket. And although McDonald's is what we call the goose that lays the golden egg, we have to also use that to branch off into some other things and give other opportunities. And I want to make it to where when my kids get out of school, if they don't want to do McDonald's, there's other options for them within the family that they can go into.
Yeah, that's big.
Good. Now you said, I think Michele, you wanted to ask about stocks, and is McDonald's, you can buy stock in any McDonald's, but is there first the difference between the franchise and the corporation as far as McDonald's is concerned?
So McDonald's in a lot of ways, the corporation is what we kind of call it a real estate company in a sense, because McDonald's owns the land. I don't own the land on any of the restaurants that I have. So McDonald's owns the land, or they lease it from, the person that does own it. But every McDonald's restaurant pays McDonald's Corporation a royalty to operate. And so McDonald's Corporation's success is highly predicated on what the franchisees are doing, because the franchisees represent 95% of the company. So 95% of the McDonald's in the country are ran by individuals like me. And so the success of McDonald's Corporation in the US is highly tied to the success of the franchisees. So when you say buy stock in McDonald's, you are buying stock in McDonald's Corporation. Mm-hmm. And McDonald's Corporation's success is, again, heavily tied to folks like me running my restaurants, doing what I'm supposed to do in my communities to bring and continue to support those communities that support the restaurants. And then we feed money up to McDonald's through royalties and service fees and stuff like that.
Yeah. So, I mean, and McDonald's is, of course, McDonald's has grown so much. Like, I mean, everyone has had a McDonald's burger before. I believe everyone, there's no one out there that has never had McDonald's. I don't think, but you never know. So either. Yeah, you never know. But so with the growth of your business, 47 locations, how did you handle the I don't even know the name of pandemic? How did you handle the pandemic? How are you handling with hiring and people not showing up? And how did you guys handle that? That's a lot of people, a lot of locations to handle this pandemic, the lack of staff.
Yeah, that has been, that has been very challenging. The thing that I think has helped it in a sense was when the pandemic first started, a lot of locations closed their lobbies down. And then once we closed our lobbies, the majority of our business was through our drive-through. So pre-pandemic, our drive-throughs accounted for probably 70% of our business. When the pandemic first hit, it went to 95% of our business. And so we shut our lobbies down. That helped out a whole lot because now you have a part of this business that you don't have to focus on. Now all you have to do is focus on that drive-through and getting those people through the drive-through. And so that helped the shortage of help situation a lot. Now, as you fast forward to today's time and our drive-through, our lobbies have been opened back up, the people situation has been pretty challenging. It's been very challenging, actually. But again, I can't tell you enough about the people that I have working for this organization and how wonderful they are. And luckily, we have not had to close any of our restaurants. We've not had to go down to any shorter hours. And we've been able to maintain a full menu, whereas some of my peers and some of our competition has had to close early, has had to go limited menu, and have had to do other things to compensate for the fact that they don't have the help.
Yeah, that's huge. I mean, because I know earlier before we came on, you were saying that, you make sure that your people are not only in good hands working for you, but also that you look out for them, that they are able to get home to their families and do what, and that's huge when it comes to, being a large employer of people, because in this day and age, people are realizing, you know what, he can't run this without me.
That's right.
So, and so, I mean, that's a big message for a lot of business owners out there to take care of your people, because at the end of the day, they are going to definitely take care of you.
That's 100%. That's 100%. And then, I, like I said, I grew up in this business. I grew up working in this business, and I understand the challenges that they're going through. So, we make sure that the equipment works. We make sure that the air works, the heat in the winter, and the air in the summer. Like, we make sure that their environment is comfortable for them to be in. Is it work? Yes, it's busy, but it shouldn't have all those other challenges. We don't holler and scream. We don't curse. We don't do all of that stuff. And it starts at the top and it filters down, and we just don't have that mentality, or the culture has to be right within your organization, all through your organization, if you want your folks to stay and bring their friends.
Yeah, that's huge too, because my first job ever was McDonald's in high school. And I always remember it being an environment friendly to all of us.
Yes.
Okay. Yep. And so it just was always a very friendly environment. It was always a good environment to work in. So, I'm sure you have some high schoolers in your organization that, attest to that. Yeah, it's just a really good environment. So, but Larry put a question up about, what was it, Tracey?
I think it's a soft serve, the cone. It's always a joke about
why is the ice cream cone machine always broken?
If I had $1 for every time I get asked this question, I would be rich. Wait a minute. Okay, I guess I get asked that question a lot. So, here it is. The machine has 1 million parts in it, and it has to be broken down a certain amount of times in a 2-week period. And anything that you break down, if you don't put it back exactly the way it needs to be put back, it ain't gonna work right. Yeah. And so the newer machines that they're making for us have a lot less parts. The problem is my machine works right now, and that's a $20,000 machine. So I ain't rushing out to buy no new machines because it's got less parts. So the biggest thing that we as operators need to do, and we try to do, is you get one person that works on it. You get that one person that works on it, then you don't have a problem. When you get several people working on it, then that's where you have your issue. So trust me, it is a running joke within my own household. My kids go to some of my stores and my peers' stores, and anytime that machine is down, they can't wait to get home and tell me about it, because they know how much it bothers me. So long story, to summarize it, big machine with a whole lot of parts, and if any of those parts ain't right, it ain't working. And trust me, it bothers us because we lose a lot of money on those machines when they're down.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
I mean, it's a craving. You know that, right? Especially if it's late night.
Yes, I do.
Yeah. Because sometimes I go.
Wait, Michele, my whole business is a craving. So I get mad whenever you come to my store and there's something that you are craving and I can't give it to you.
Yeah. Oh, that's funny.
I've done it plenty of times that the ice cream machine or the milkshake machine has been broken. I'm like, forget it. I don't even want it now.
Hey,
just drive on up.
And honestly, sometimes it's on us where some of our kids just don't want to go put no mix in it. So instead of them going to put mix in it, they say, oh, it's broke. But if you don't go back there and put some mix in the machine and tell this lady a milkshake.
But, I mean, overall, I've kind of like learned about the history of McDonald's. And I really do think it's a good, excellent company to get involved in. First off,
yes.
Like I said, it was my first job ever. And I felt like I was working, at the best, it's a strip of them down, a strip of, it was Arby's. Arby's was never nothing going on there, like all these different restaurants. And, I felt like I was, working at, because this is where everybody came after the basketball games and things like that. So kudos to you for being, part of that really history of people growing up and everything about, because I believe McDonald's is the first burger my kid was ever able to request.
That's right. Right.
Them golden arches.
Yeah.
So like it's such a big deal to me, to have you here on our show to share your experience, because it really is it's made it personal. Me and my little McDonald's, like back in the day, McDonald's, that's all he can say,
It's one of the first things they can point out, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's one of the first things they can point out. And one other, whenever you go to a foreign country or you go someplace that's not in America, one of the first things that you look for sometimes is something familiar. Whenever you've been eating a lot of, kind of some different, fare, you find a McDonald's, you're like, oh, I need something I know exactly what I'm getting.
Yeah. Yes. A friendly yes. So you know what you get when you go into McDonald's. And it's always going to be the best fries. And a good flair fish sandwich with that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when you go to the other countries, so they have regular burgers too, huh? They sell the same kind of food?
It just depends. In different countries, there's different offerings because that their taste profile and their palates are different. So, in Japan, there's different burgers and different sandwiches that we don't have here. Even in England, there's different, London, Europe, all those different places, there are different sandwiches that we have here. There was a time where we even had different sandwiches based on the part of the country you were in. So California would have something different in New York and different than what we had here down in the Southeast because of the different flavors of the country. So they've gotten away from that. We're trying to pull them back there a little bit, but yeah, the menu varies across the world.
Wow. That's interesting. Very, very interesting. So are you, did I ask them, were you accessible to everybody? Accessible to your?
Yeah.
So I try to be accessible. When I say try, whenever I'm in my restaurants, any and everybody, I go to everyone and talk to them. I thank them for being there. Thank them for the job that they're doing. And for, I try to talk to them. How long have you been with the company? How do you, do you like working for the company? Are you having any problems? Blah, blah, blah. So accessible in that way, but with so many layers of management, I like for them to work through the system, and they can't get the answers that they want, and they work those layers, and I'm absolutely accessible to my folks.
Because I'll be like, I need a raise. No, I'm just kidding.
Hey, that's the number one. Now, you know what? It's funny you say that though, Tracey. I don't get that much. Okay. We try to make sure that our folks get the reviews that they need and the performance reviews that they need. And, the last thing they want to do is ask me for a raise, because the first thing I'm going to do is go to my person and they'll be like, well, wait a minute, now they just got one, so I don't get that question a lot. Yeah, I actually don't get that question a lot.
What is the structure of management?
So you obviously got me as the owner. I've got a director of operations. He has 4 ops managers under him. there's 10 supervisors under them, and then every store has a general manager.
Oh, wow. Okay. Because I thought maybe general manager and then the owner operator. So, but no.
No, not with 47 restaurants. No.
Okay, yeah.
No, not with 47 restaurants. So you got, or I'll reverse it. General managers report up to the supervisors. Each supervisor has about 4 or 5 restaurants amongst themselves, sometimes a little more. But then the supervisors report up to the ops managers. Ops managers have different sections that's convenient for them to hit. And then the ops managers report up to the director of operations. And then I deal with the director of operations.
Okay.
Wow. So you're accessible, but not really.
I was gonna say it's if you got to skip all them layers of management, it's usually a problem. And the folks want to take care of things before it gets to me. So if I go in the store and somebody tells me about something that they could have easily told, say, the GM or the supervisor, it's kind of frowned upon, because again, I can't have 2,600 people telling me about their schedule.
Yeah,
that's true.
Yeah, that's and so pretty much when you're due to come into the store, things gotta be right when you enter. Yeah,
and they know when you're coming.
Yeah.
Sometimes I pop in on them and they don't know, but for the most part they do know. But when I do pop in, before I can get to my car, 4 or 5 people know that I've been there, and they start calling me about how was my visit and how was things at the store. So it's hard for me to play the undercover boss.
Okay.
So how do you determine when it's time to redecorate or rebuild your location?
Well, you just do that based on the way it looks and the way it feels. I go into my restaurants with the consumer's eye and try not to have the McDonald's eye, because that's very, McDonald's eyes, we over scrutinize things sometimes. But as a customer, how do I feel in this environment? Does it feel dated? Are there tears in the sofas, or is it dirty? Does the wallpaper need to be changed? Is it peeling? And I try to make sure that if it's inviting to me, it should be inviting to my customers as well. So as a rule of thumb, we usually get anywhere from 7 to 10 years in a lobby before it needs to be remodeled. The exterior, usually anywhere from 10 to 15 or 15 to 20 years before it needs to be done. But lately we've been doing that a lot more frequent. We've been spending a whole lot more money remodeling our stores, as you all have probably seen.
Yeah, because I've seen how you can order your own food and then go to the desk to pick it up.
Well, the digital is the future. And so we've been investing a lot of money in various ways for you to order. So we've got the kiosk. You can do everything you do on the kiosk in the store, you can do on your mobile phone. So right now you can place an order on your phone, roll up to the store. As soon as you pull into the parking lot, we have geo-fencing that lets us know that Tracey's there and Tracey's Big Mac meal is ready to be made. You park into a stall, you say Tracey's in stall 5, we bring that out to you within 4 or 5 minutes. And we're doing that. And, folks have misunderstood this to believe that we're doing it so that we don't have to have as many people working. And that's not in any way the truth. We are doing it because the millennials today want other ways to place their orders and get their food. They don't like that customer interaction. They don't want to have to talk to me and you. They don't want to talk to anybody. They want to put their orders in their phone, punch it in, and somebody either go grab their food or get their food. They don't want to have to talk to no one.
Yeah.
So we are doing that to be relevant to the next generation.
Oh, wow. So what does it cost to be a franchisee?
So is a good rule of thumb is about $750,000 per store, because the stores, once you buy the restaurant, so anywhere from $2.5 to $3 million, you got to put a 25% down payment down, and then the rest of the bank will finance. But that's upfront money. That's liquid upfront money. They're not cheap to get into, but they're good businesses. How many McDonald's have you ever seen close? And the reason why you don't see McDonald's close too often is because McDonald's figures out where they want those locations, and they spend a lot of money figuring out the rooftops in the area, the traffic patterns, how people go to work. Is it this side of the street that's busy in the morning, or is it this side of the street that's busy in the evenings? And so when they put that location in there, so much research has gone into it. The chances of it being successful are pretty high. And I think that's the good thing about McDonald's being a real estate company. They're going to buy the best real estate to put those locations.
Yeah. Yeah. Location.
Yeah.
Well,
100%.
Well, thank you so much once again for being here. And you know what? It just hit me like, you're not the GM, you're the own operation of 47 McDonald's. So thank you for coming on Sisters of Leisure and joining us and having this candid conversation and being transparent. We just really appreciate that. So
thank you for having me.
Well, thank you. Do you have any social media platforms that you want to tell us real quick before we close out?
I don't. I got 47 stores. I don't have a whole lot.
You got time for that?
I don't be on social media that much. No,
well,
unfortunately, I don't.
Yeah. Thank you so much again.
Yeah. And you can definitely put out my email address, bigmacage, BIGMACAGE @me.com. If folks want to reach out for any questions or, reach out any advice on franchising and stuff like that.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you, Adrian. We appreciate you and we hope you have an amazing week.
No, I appreciate y'all and much success to you ladies. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you so much.